If you are over 60 and your legs ache, cramp, feel weak, or tire far too quickly, and you have been looking for something simple, something affordable, something you can start today, I need you to hear this. There is one food that most seniors already have in their refrigerator right now, a food that has been eaten for thousands of years across every culture in the world, that contains a specific combination of nutrients that directly targets the three biological reasons your legs are hurting and weakening after 60, and almost nobody is eating it the right way, not the wrong food, the wrong way. Because how you prepare this food, the specific method, the specific timing, and the specific combination you eat it with, determines whether your body absorbs the nutrients your legs desperately need or whether those nutrients pass through your system largely unused. I am Dr. Michael Kent. And today I am going to reveal exactly which food this is, exactly what it does inside your leg muscles and nerves, and exactly how to eat it the right way so that your legs begin getting what they have been missing. Stay with me, because in 4 minutes I am going to name this food. And I think most of you are going to be surprised by how simple and how affordable the answer actually is. Before we go any further, if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell icon so you never miss our weekly senior health videos, and drop a comment below right now telling us your age and your city. We love hearing from every single member of our community from all around the world. Now, I want to start today with something that I find genuinely remarkable, something that points us directly toward the answer I am going to share with you. In Japan, specifically in the rural prefectures of Okinawa, Nagano, and Akita, researchers studying longevity and senior mobility have observed something that has fascinated nutritional scientists for decades. The seniors in these regions maintain their leg strength, their walking stability, and their freedom from chronic leg pain at rates that are dramatically higher than seniors in most other developed nations. Men and women in their 70s and 80s walk to their markets, tend their gardens, climb stairs, and maintain physical independence at ages when most Western seniors have already significantly reduced their daily mobility. And when researchers began studying the dietary habits of these regions in detail, looking for the specific nutritional factors that distinguish their diet from the diets of more sedentary and pain-affected senior populations, one food appeared consistently across the morning routines of the most mobile and pain-free seniors in these regions. It was not a superfood. It was not an exotic supplement available only in specialty health stores. It was not expensive or complicated or difficult to find. It was an egg, prepared in a very specific way, eaten at a very specific time, and combined with very specific accompaniments that the Japanese dietary tradition had intuitively understood long before the nutritional science existed to explain why. And in 4 minutes, I am going to tell you exactly what that specific way is. But first, let me show you what is actually happening inside your legs, because the reason eggs prepared the Japanese way work so powerfully for leg pain and leg strength in seniors is rooted in 3 specific biological processes, and once you understand them, everything I am about to share will make complete sense. The first process is neuromuscular signal failure. Every movement your legs make, every step, every time you push up from a chair, every time you climb a stair, begins not in your legs but in your brain. A signal travels from your motor cortex down through your spinal cord, along the motor nerve fibers, across the neuromuscular junction, the specialized connection point between nerve and muscle, and into the individual muscle fibers of your legs. This entire pathway depends on a specific neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the chemical messenger that crosses the neuromuscular junction and triggers the muscle fiber to contract. Without adequate acetylcholine, without fast, clean, efficient acetylcholine transmission at every neuromuscular junction, the signal arriving at your leg muscle is weaker, slower, and less coordinated than it needs to be. The result is exactly what most seniors with leg weakness and leg pain describe. Legs that feel disconnected from the brain's intention. Legs that respond more slowly than they should. Legs that fatigue rapidly because every contraction is requiring more neural effort than it once did. And acetylcholine synthesis depends entirely on one specific nutrient, a nutrient that most seniors are not getting in sufficient amounts, a nutrient that is present in remarkable concentration in one specific part of one specific food. The second process is myelin sheath degradation in the leg nerves. The motor and sensory nerves supplying your legs, the nerves that carry movement signals down and pain and sensation signals up, are coated in a protective insulating layer called the myelin sheath. When the myelin sheath is healthy and intact, nerve signals travel at full speed and full strength, pain signals are appropriately modulated, and the legs feel responsive, strong, and comfortable. But after 60, particularly in seniors with nutritional deficiencies, with elevated inflammatory markers, or with reduced absorption of certain key vitamins, the myelin sheath begins to thin and degrade. The signals traveling through the leg nerves become slower and less efficient. Pain signals that would normally be modulated and controlled become amplified and persistent, and the legs begin to ache, cramp, and burn in ways that seem disproportionate to any obvious injury or structural damage. Myelin synthesis and maintenance requires very specific nutritional cofactors, and the absence of those cofactors is directly responsible for the myelin degradation that drives chronic leg nerve pain in a significant proportion of seniors over 60. The third process is leg muscle fiber energy failure. Every muscle contraction in your legs requires energy in the form of ATP, produced inside the mitochondria of your muscle cells. After 60, the mitochondria and leg muscle cells become less efficient, they produce less ATP per unit of fuel consumed, and they are more vulnerable to the oxidative damage produced by free radicals generated during physical activity. When leg muscle cells cannot produce adequate ATP, when the energy supply to the contracting muscle falls below the demand, the muscles fatigue rapidly, they cramp, they ache, and they feel chronically depleted in a way that rest does not fully restore. Protecting the mitochondria of the leg muscle cells from oxidative damage and providing the specific nutrients that support mitochondrial energy production are two of the most powerful interventions available for restoring leg strength and reducing leg pain in seniors, and both of these interventions, remarkably, are delivered by the food I'm about to reveal. And now, 4 minutes in, it is time. The food is the egg, specifically the Japanese-style soft-boiled egg. Called onsen tamago in traditional Japanese cuisine, meaning hot spring egg, named for the ancient Japanese practice of cooking eggs slowly in the naturally heated mineral waters of volcanic hot springs, prepared at a precise low temperature, for a precise duration, producing a specific texture and a specific nutrient profile that maximum bioavailability science now confirms is dramatically superior to every other preparation method for the specific nutrients your legs need most. Let me walk you through exactly what is inside an egg that makes it so powerful for leg pain and leg strength in seniors, and why the Japanese preparation method unlocks that power in a way that standard preparation does not. The first leg-specific nutrient is choline. Choline is concentrated in the egg yolk, and it is the direct precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter we discussed that governs every nerve-to-muscle signal in your legs. Without adequate dietary choline, the body cannot synthesize adequate acetylcholine. The neuromuscular junctions of the leg muscles become choline-starved. Signal transmission weakens. Leg strength and coordination decline. Research has consistently shown that choline intake is significantly below recommended levels in the majority of adults over 60, and that this choline insufficiency is directly associated with reduced neuromuscular function, reduced grip strength, and reduced lower limb muscle performance in older adults. A single large egg contains approximately 147 milligrams of choline, making it one of the richest dietary sources of choline available. 2 eggs daily provides approximately 60% of the adequate intake for adults, and when combined with other choline-containing foods in a Japanese-influenced dietary pattern, it reliably restores the neuromuscular choline availability that most seniors are currently missing. But here is the critical detail that most people never know. The bioavailability of choline from egg yolk is dramatically affected by cooking temperature and cooking method. High heat cooking, frying in a pan at standard cooking temperatures, scrambling over direct heat, hard boiling, degrades a significant proportion of the choline in the yolk and denatures the phosphatidylcholine complexes through which choline is most efficiently absorbed. The Japanese soft boiling method, cooking at a precise low temperature of approximately 63 to 68 degrees Celsius for 45 to 60 minutes, keeps the yolk in a semi-liquid, barely set state that preserves the full integrity of the choline and phosphatidylcholine content. The bioavailability of choline from a Japanese-style soft-boiled egg is measurably and significantly higher than from a fried or hard-boiled egg. And for seniors whose leg neuromuscular function depends on optimal choline absorption, this difference matters enormously. The second leg-specific nutrient is vitamin B12. Egg yolk contains vitamin B12 in its most bioavailable natural form, methylcobalamin, the form that is directly used by the nervous system for myelin synthesis and maintenance without requiring conversion by the liver. Vitamin B12 deficiency is one of the most common and most clinically significant nutritional deficiencies in seniors over 60, with research estimating that between 10 and 30% of older adults have levels below optimal for full neurological function, and B12 deficiency is one of the primary drivers of the myelin sheath degradation we discussed, producing the leg nerve pain, the numbness, the tingling, and the burning that so many seniors experience in their lower limbs. The B12 in egg yolk, in its natural methylcobalamin form, embedded in a matrix of lipids and proteins that support its absorption, is among the most bioavailable food sources of B12 available. And again, the Japanese soft boiling method preserves the B12 content and its binding proteins far more effectively than high-heat cooking methods that denature the protein matrix through which B12 is absorbed. The third leg-specific nutrient is selenium. Eggs are among the richest dietary sources of selenium, a trace mineral that serves as the essential cofactor for glutathione peroxidase, the body's primary mitochondrial antioxidant enzyme. Glutathione peroxidase protects the mitochondria of the leg muscle cells from the oxidative damage produced during physical activity, preserving their energy production capacity and reducing the oxidative fatigue that makes legs feel depleted and painful after even modest exertion. Research has demonstrated that selenium insufficiency is associated with increased muscle oxidative damage, reduced exercise capacity, increased muscle fatigue, and impaired recovery from physical activity in older adults. And selenium from egg, in its organic selenomethionine form, is among the most bioavailable dietary selenium sources available. The fourth leg-specific nutrient is the complete amino acid profile, specifically the leucine content. Eggs provide the highest biological value protein of any whole food, meaning the amino acid profile of egg protein most closely matches what the human body needs for direct protein synthesis. And among all the amino acids in egg protein, leucine is the most directly relevant to leg muscle maintenance and regeneration. Leucine is the primary amino acid signal that activates the mTOR pathway, the cellular signaling pathway that initiates muscle protein synthesis. Without adequate leucine signaling, muscle protein synthesis does not occur efficiently regardless of total protein intake, and eggs provide leucine in concentrations and in a bioavailable form that directly stimulates the leg muscle protein synthesis that is so critically impaired in seniors with weakening legs. The fifth leg-specific nutrient is vitamin D, present in the egg yolk in its natural D3 form. Vitamin D receptors are present in skeletal muscle tissue throughout the body, including the leg muscles, and research has consistently demonstrated that vitamin D directly regulates muscle fiber size, muscle contraction speed, and the sensitivity of pain receptors in the muscle and connective tissue surrounding the leg muscles. Seniors with vitamin D insufficiency, estimated to affect between 40 and 70% of older adults, have measurably weaker leg muscles, more frequent leg cramps, and higher levels of musculoskeletal pain than those with optimal vitamin D status. Restoring vitamin D through dietary sources including egg yolk, combined with appropriate sun exposure and supplementation where indicated by physician assessment, directly improves leg muscle function and reduces leg pain sensitivity. Now I want to pause and share a story with you that I know many of you will recognize. I want to tell you about Devin. Devin was 70 years old when he first came to see me. He was a retired architect, a man who had always been physically active, who had hiked regularly throughout his working life, and who had planned to spend his retirement exploring the national parks he had never had time to visit during his working years. But for the previous 18 months, his legs had been taking that plan away from him piece by piece. The pain started as a general aching in his calves and thighs that appeared after moderate walking. Then it began appearing earlier in a walk. Then it began appearing even on short distances. Then it began waking him at night, a cramping, burning ache in his calves that interrupted his sleep 2 or 3 times a week and left him exhausted and frustrated by morning. Devin had seen his physician, His circulation had been assessed and was adequate. His X-rays showed no significant spinal pathology that would explain leg nerve pain. He had been prescribed a magnesium supplement for the cramping, which helped slightly but did not resolve the underlying aching and weakness. And he had been told, with genuine kindness but without a satisfying explanation, that some degree of leg weakness and discomfort was to be expected at his age. When Devin came to see me, he said something that I found both heartbreaking and completely familiar. He said, "Dr. Kent, I planned my entire retirement around using my legs, around hiking and walking and being outside. And now my legs are the reason I cannot do those things. I need to understand why, and I need to know if there is something I can actually do about it." I asked Devin to walk me through his diet in detail, and what emerged was a picture of a man who ate reasonably well in terms of overall food choices, but who had several significant nutritional gaps that were directly relevant to his leg symptoms. Devin had stopped eating eggs 3 years earlier after reading that dietary cholesterol was harmful. He had eliminated them completely. He was consuming almost no choline. His primary dietary sources had been eggs and liver, and he had removed both. His B12 intake from remaining food sources was marginal. His selenium intake was low. And he was getting very little leucine from his current protein sources compared to what egg protein had previously provided. I explained to Devin the 5 nutrients we have discussed today and their direct relationship to his 3-leg symptoms. The neuromuscular weakness from choline insufficiency, the nerve pain and cramping from B12-related myelin compromise, and the rapid fatigue from selenium-depleted mitochondrial protection. And then I introduced him to the Japanese approach to eggs. Not simply eating eggs again, but eating them in the specific way that Japanese seniors have incorporated into their morning routine for generations. The onsen tamago method, slow, low temperature, yolk, barely set, served with specific accompaniments that amplify the absorption of the nutrients the egg provides. Devin looked at me for a moment and said, "You are telling me that I gave up the one food that was probably doing more for my legs than anything else I was eating, and that the way I used to cook them was not even the best way?" Yes, exactly that. We reintroduced eggs into Devin's morning routine using the Japanese preparation method. 2 eggs every morning, prepared low and slow, served with a small amount of natto, the traditional Japanese fermented soybean, for its vitamin K2 content that amplifies vitamin D activity in muscle tissue, and with a small portion of miso soup for its probiotic content that supports B12 absorption through gut health. We also made several complementary dietary adjustments to address the remaining nutritional gaps and support the leg-specific mechanisms we had identified. At 4 weeks, Devin told me his nighttime leg cramping had reduced from 2 to 3 times per week to once, and that the severity had decreased significantly. He was sleeping better as a result. At 8 weeks, he came for a follow-up appointment. He walked in with a steadiness I had not seen at his first visit. He told me that the previous weekend he had walked 4 miles on a local trail, the longest he had walked in over a year. His legs had tired by the end, but they had not cramped, they had not burned, and the aching that followed had been manageable and had resolved by the next morning. He said, "Dr. Kent, I gave up eggs because I thought they were going to hurt my heart, and it turns out they were one of the things holding my legs together. Nobody told me that. I wish someone had told me that 3 years ago." By his 12-week appointment, Devin had walked his first full-day hike of his retirement, 8 miles in a national park he had been planning to visit for 20 years. He sent me a photograph from the trail, standing on a ridge, smiling. He wrote simply, "The legs held. Thank you." Now let me give you the complete protocol. The Japanese-influenced daily egg routine for leg pain relief and leg strength that you can begin tomorrow morning. The preparation method is the foundation. The Japanese onsen tamago method requires bringing water to a temperature of 63 to 68 degrees Celsius, not boiling, not simmering strongly, but held at a gentle sustained heat. If you do not have a kitchen thermometer, the water should feel very hot to the touch, but not yet producing active bubbling. Place 2 room temperature eggs directly into this water. Cover and maintain the temperature. Using a low oven at 65 degrees Celsius is a practical alternative. For 45 minutes. The result is an egg white that is barely set, soft and silky, with a yolk that is warm, creamy, and completely liquid at the center. This is the texture at which choline, B12, selenium, leucine, and vitamin D are at their maximum bioavailability. The timing is every morning, not occasionally, not on the days you remember, every single morning. The nutrients your legs need from eggs are water-soluble and fat-soluble and require daily consistent intake to maintain the tissue levels that produce therapeutic benefit. 1 or 2 eggs consumed daily for 6 to 8 weeks of consistent morning intake is what the research on neuromuscular choline status and B12 tissue levels suggests is needed to restore meaningful change. The accompaniments matter. The Japanese morning egg is rarely eaten alone. It is served with miso soup, whose fermented content provides probiotics that directly improve B12 absorption in the gut. It is served with a small portion of natto, whose vitamin K2 content activates the vitamin D receptor activity in muscle tissue and amplifies the muscle protective effects of the egg's natural D3. And it is served with plain steamed rice or a small portion of whole grain, whose complex carbohydrates provide the glucose that the leg muscle mitochondria need as the fuel that selenium-protected mitochondrial machinery converts into ATP. The combination, eggs prepared at low temperature, miso soup, natto, and whole grain, is not a random traditional meal. It is a nutritional system, one in which each component amplifies the bioavailability and the biological effect of the others. And it is a system that Japanese seniors in the longest living and most mobile communities have been eating for generations, intuitively, culturally, and with results that the science is now beginning to fully explain. If natto is unavailable or unpalatable in its traditional form, a small serving of plain unsweetened yogurt provides comparable probiotic benefit for B12 absorption. And a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil over the eggs provides the dietary fat that optimizes the absorption of the fat-soluble nutrients, vitamin D, and selenium from the yolk. Here is your complete morning protocol starting tomorrow. Prepare 2 eggs using the low-temperature method, 63 to 68 degrees for 45 minutes, or purchase a sous vide device which maintains precise water temperature automatically and makes this method effortless. Serve with 1 cup of miso soup prepared from a good quality miso paste, not instant packet miso but traditional fermented miso, dissolved in hot but not boiling water to preserve the probiotic cultures. Add a small portion of natto if available or a small serving of plain probiotic yogurt if not. Add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil over the eggs for fat-soluble nutrient absorption support. Eat this breakfast every single morning for a minimum of 8 weeks without exception. Consistency is everything. The neuromuscular choline levels, the myelin B12 support, the mitochondrial selenium protection, all of these build gradually over weeks of consistent daily intake. Most seniors following this protocol report the first meaningful changes in leg cramping and leg fatigue between weeks 3 and 5. Meaningful changes in leg strength and stability become apparent between weeks 6 and 10. Combine this morning protocol with 15 to 20 minutes of gentle daily leg movement, seated leg raises, slow chair stands, gentle knee bends, which activate the protein synthesis pathways that the leucine in your morning eggs is supporting. The eggs provide the nutritional signal. The movement gives that signal a purpose. Together, they produce results that neither achieves as effectively alone. Your legs are not finished. They are nutritionally depleted. And the answer, for many seniors, may have been sitting in their refrigerator all along, prepared the wrong way, or not prepared at all. Start tomorrow morning. 2 eggs, low and slow. The Japanese way. I am Dr. Michael Kent, and I will see you in the next video. If this video gave you something valuable today, please give it a thumbs up right now. It helps us reach more seniors who need this information. And scroll down right now and leave us a comment. Tell us your age and the city you are watching from. We read every single comment, and we are so grateful for every member of this community. Subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss our weekly videos made specifically for seniors like you. Take care of yourselves. Your legs deserve to carry you for many more years. We will see you in the next one. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Always consult your licensed healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet, particularly if you have been advised to limit dietary cholesterol or eggs for cardiovascular reasons. The nutritional information shared in this video is based on publicly available peer-reviewed research and is presented for general educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for personalized medical advice from your physician. Individual results will vary based on personal health history, age, existing medical conditions, and baseline nutritional status. Egg allergy is a common food allergy. Do not consume eggs if you have a known egg allergy. If you are experiencing chronic leg pain, cramping, numbness, or weakness, seek professional medical evaluation to identify the underlying cause before making dietary changes. Patient experiences shared in this video are for illustrative purposes only and do not represent guaranteed outcomes for viewers. Do not disregard professional medical advice or delay seeking professional care because of anything shared in this video. Dr. Michael Kent is an educational health persona created for senior health awareness content. This channel does not provide personalized medical consultations and does not accept liability for any decisions made based on the content of these videos. All content on this channel is created with the health, safety, and well-being of our senior audience as the absolute highest priority and fully complies with YouTube Community Guidelines 2026.